dusty auction yard, where broken dreams were sold for pennies, one dying horse looked straight into a stranger's eyes and whispered a promise that would change everything. Peter Marsh stood at the edge of the noisy crowd, his boots covered in red dirt and his heart heavier than the empty pockets in his old coat. The sun beat down like it wanted to punish the whole world. Men shouted prices for strong bulls and healthy cows, but everyone laughed at the thin, scarred horse tied to a rusty post. Its ribs showed through dull brown skin. One back leg trembled. Blood crusted around a deep cut on its shoulder. Flies buzzed around its face. "Cursed!" someone yelled. "That beast brings nothing but bad luck. Lyle Creed's old horse, same one that disappeared with him years ago. Stay away." Peter didn't laugh. He knew bad luck too well. His own farm was dying. The well had gone dry 6 months back. His last 2 cows had been sold for food. His wife had left long ago, saying she couldn't watch him starve anymore. At night he sat alone on the broken porch and wondered why he even woke up in the morning. But when the horse lifted its head and looked at him, really looked, something inside Peter shifted. Those dark eyes weren't empty. They carried a quiet strength, a secret sadness, like the animal understood every hard thing Peter had ever felt. The auctioneer called the final price. Peter counted his last 3 coins. He stepped forward before he could change his mind. "I'll take him," he said, voice low but steady. The crowd roared with laughter. "You bought a ghost, Marsh!" they shouted. Peter didn't answer. He untied the rope, gently touched the horse's neck, and led him away. The horse limped beside him, but it never pulled back. For the first time in years, Peter felt he wasn't walking alone. That night, he gave the horse the last bucket of clean water and the only blanket he owned. "I don't know why I bought you," Peter whispered, stroking the rough mane. "Maybe we're both just too stubborn to quit." The horse pressed its warm nose against his chest, and for one quiet moment, the weight of the world felt lighter. The next morning, the horse was gone. Peter's heart slammed against his ribs. He ran across the dry fields calling, "Boy, where are you?" His voice cracked with fear, not just fear of losing his last bit of hope, but fear that the horse had died somewhere alone. He followed faint hoofprints into the thick woods behind his farm, then up rocky hills he had never climbed before. Thorns tore his shirt, sweat stung his eyes. Still he kept going. Hours later, deep in a hidden valley no one ever visited, he found the horse standing calm beside an old broken wagon, half covered by vines. Bones, human bones, lay scattered near the wagon. Peter's stomach turned, but he couldn't look away. Beside the skeleton rested a heavy iron box, rusted but locked tight. The horse nudged the box with its nose, as if it had brought Peter here on purpose. With shaking hands, Peter pried the box open. Inside was a thick leather ledger. Yellowed papers showed maps, signatures, and official stamps. They belonged to Lyle Creed, the rich man who had vanished 10 years earlier. The papers proved he owned thousands of acres of rich land and 3 working gold mines on the other side of the mountains. All of it had been waiting, forgotten, for the rightful owner to claim it. Peter sat on the ground, tears cutting clean lines down his dusty face. "This can't be real," he whispered. "I'm nobody. Why me?" The horse lowered its head and rested it gently on Peter's shoulder, like an old friend saying, "You were never nobody." But secrets like this never stay hidden. 3 nights later, while Peter sat by his small fire, studying the papers, heavy boots crunched outside his tiny cabin. The door burst open. 3 rough men stepped in, faces hard, guns shining in the firelight. "We know what you found, Marsh," the leader growled. "Hand over Creed's ledger, or we'll burn this shack with you inside it." Peter's mouth went dry. He thought of the life those papers could give him. No more empty plates, no more wondering if tomorrow would be worse. But he also thought of the horse standing quietly in the corner, watching everything with those same calm, knowing eyes. "I'm not giving you anything," Peter said, voice trembling but clear. "This belongs to the man who earned it. And now, it belongs to me." The men laughed. One raised his gun. Then the horse changed. In one heartbeat, the weak, limping animal became something fierce and unstoppable. Muscles rippled under its scarred hide. Its eyes burned with old anger. It remembered everything. Its old master Lyle Creed shot in the back, the wagon overturned, the iron box hidden in panic. This was the moment it had waited years for. With a scream that shook the walls, the horse charged. It slammed into the first man, throwing him straight into the fireplace. Flames caught his coat. He ran screaming into the night. The second man tried to shoot, but the horse reared and brought both front hooves down hard. Bones cracked. The man dropped his gun and crawled away. The third man turned to run. The horse chased him out the door, kicking up dust like thunder. Peter stood frozen, heart pounding with terror and wonder at the same time. The cabin was burning now, flames licking the dry wood walls, but he didn't feel afraid anymore. He grabbed the leather ledger and ran outside. The horse trotted back to him, breathing hard, blood on its shoulder again, but its head held high with pride. Together they watched the little cabin fall into glowing embers. Everything Peter owned was gone, except the papers and the horse that had chosen him. Weeks later, after lawyers and judges had studied the old documents, Peter Marsh stood on the wide green porch of a new house built on the land that was now his. The gold mines were already producing. Money filled his bank account faster than he could count. People in town called it a miracle. They said Peter was the luckiest man alive. But Peter knew the truth. Every evening he walked to the big stable behind his house. The horse, now strong, glossy, and healthy, waited for him. Peter brushed its mane with slow, loving strokes. "You didn't save me because of the gold," he said softly. "You saved me because you saw a man who needed one more chance. Just like your old master needed someone to finish what he started." The horse leaned into him, eyes half closed in quiet peace. In that moment, Peter felt something he had almost forgotten. Hope that felt warm and real. Gratitude so deep it hurt. And the steady love of a friend who had walked through fire for him. He had not picked the horse that day at the auction. The horse had picked him. And because of one broken animal's courage and loyalty, a poor, lonely farmer had found not only riches, but a reason to believe that even the most cursed life can become a beautiful story. Peter smiled, resting his forehead against the horse's warm neck. "Thank you," he whispered, "for choosing me." The wind carried his words across the golden fields that now belonged to both of them, and somewhere in the quiet evening light, it felt like the whole world was finally at peace. If this story touched your heart even a little, if it made you pause and feel something real for a moment, I have a small request. Please take a second to visit my Facebook page and leave a rating and a review. Your support truly means everything. It helps me keep bringing you more powerful, emotional stories like this. And if you're still here, tell me in the comments, where are you listening from?